Looks like we're talking about Evergreen today. So here's the thing about Evergreen. Evergreen is one of the first elementals that we are ever actually introduced to in terms of the past of Adventure Time. And the thing that makes him so interesting is that he is by all means one of the most important characters to the story. 90% of what happens wouldn't be possible without him. And the terrible thing about his character is the fact that by all intents and purposes, he is a tragedy. Every single thing that he set out to do ended up falling apart and he ended up dying of failure. But to really understand the tragedy of Evergreen, we're gonna have to go way back before the main story. We're talking millions of years here, up to the point where the dinosaurs were still around. See, millions of years prior to the main story, a new comet was coming to hit the Earth, and although many catalyst comets had appeared, this was the first one that showed obvious malicious intent, and for anyone who actually knows their stuff, we all know that this is the Lich. Well, the soon-to-be Lich, but regardless, this thing still wanted the destruction of all life, same as with every other incarnation he ends up taking. Now, Evergreen, being one of the most intelligent of the elementals, was one of the first individuals to realize the danger that the Lich's incarnation would impose. Due to the fact that he was the most intelligent out of all of them, he quickly realized that they did not possess enough power to deal with the unbridled ability of that of a catalyst comet, and so sought out to create his crown and dabble within the primordial arts of wish magic. Now, wish magic, as the name implies, allows you to basically grant wishes through the use of pure magical power, and it is one of the most dangerous as well as powerful abilities within all of Adventure Time. However, this magic should never be dabbled with for most people. The reason for this is that this power is beyond mortal comprehension, and because of this, if misused, could easily tear apart the fabric of reality. Now, this quickly shows us a crucial part of Evergreen's character, the fact that he is incredibly ambitious and not like his fellow brethren. The other elementals fear the consequences of meddling with forces they did not fully understand, and thus simply accepted their fate, while Evergreen continuously pushes the boundaries of what he's capable of doing in order for him to achieve something greater. This ambition, as well as his uncompromising nature, is one of his best characteristics, but also one of the major things that would become his downfall. He does not second guess his own choices, and will actively go out of his way to do something that he believes is somewhat possible, despite the fact that he does not factor in the consequences of his said actions. And a good example of this would be his relationship with Gunther. Now, I'm going to be focusing on Evergreen for the most part here, however, it should be noted that Gunther does deserve his own video, as although he may be a somewhat simple character, he is still incredibly crucial to that of the Adventure Time story. Now, Gunther is a prime example of him doing things that he can do rather than focusing on what he should do. He stole a creature and mutated its body and mind so that he could utilize it for his own ends, actively creating a creature that was in a continuous loop of torment simply because he wanted an assistant. Now, obviously, Gunther himself is not in torment because he was made for this. However, it should be noted that this shows a massive flaw within Evergreen's character. He looks at everyone as if they are beneath him. He never gives the ideas of others the light of day, even when they pose good points, and this is apparent in pretty much every single part of his backstory. However, despite this incredible flaw, he is by no means an evil person. On the contrary, he is incredibly compassionate for everyone around him, at least for the most part. He treats Gunther like a child because by all intents and purposes he is. When the other elementals decided to refuse his plan, he didn't destroy them, but simply subdued them so that he can go on with his plan and had full intentions of freeing them afterwards. He makes it abundantly clear that he's doing this not for recognition, but to simply make sure that the world isn't fully destroyed by the Catalyst Comet, which by all means, if he had succeeded, would have saved billions of lives. Now, moving on from his character, we're gonna have to talk about something that is incredibly interesting, which is his incredible magical nature. He is one of the few wizards that we know existed this early on, and was more knowledgeable than pretty much any wizard that has come since. Now, the reason I bring this up now is simply due to the fact that this is a major part of his character as well. The reason why he is so arrogant is that he's a genius among geniuses and one of the most skilled in pretty much every single form of magic. To give you an idea of just how adept he was at magic, he was able to sense the energies coming from the Catalyst Comet from millions of miles away and was already creating countermeasures. By the time he had made the summons for all the other elementals, he already got started and created the crown. Evergreen, without any outside divine intervention, was able to create a conduit that was able to hold enough energy to cast an entire wish spell, which puts him above most demigods in divine entity. In any way imaginable, he was, by all intents and purposes, the smartest man alive. However, as I mentioned before, his story is a tragedy, and with good reason, because he does in fact fail. And the reason why he fails is somewhat tragic in itself, simply due to the fact that he managed to make the crown. Everything was lining up. You see, he was able to obtain an incredibly powerful treasure, which were the eyes of the Magwood, an incredibly powerful elemental creature that basically embodies flame and volcano. But here's the thing, he had no idea exactly how powerful Magwood would be, and when he attempted to fight him one-on-one, he quickly found himself being overwhelmed and nearly killed. If it wasn't for Gunther, then he would have died within that conflict, and this irritated him him to no end. This is actually why he was angry at Gunther, which was the fact that he saw Gunther as someone below him. The very idea that he, one of the most independent out of all of the elementals, one of the smartest men alive, one of the most powerful wizards currently alive at the moment, needed the help of someone below him was one of the greatest insults that could ever be thrown towards him. This is where the major problem ultimately came in, due to the fact that he separated himself from literally everyone he could possibly talk to, including Gunther, the elementals, literally everyone. He had no one to ensure that his plan went through. So when push came to shove, there was no one around to defend him or the crown, and the entire plan fell apart on itself. Due to the rampage of a depowered magwood, he ended up finding his legs being crushed by rubble, and he was unable to make the wish, so the responsibility fell on Gunther. However, due to Evergreen's negligence and his inability to look over his previous decisions, he didn't teach Gunther any magic, which resulted in him being completely consumed by his wish and completely losing his mind. The last thing Evergreen experienced was Gunther completely losing his mind in a massive green flame that engulfed the entire planet. Evergreen died right there with no one left to mourn him, along with the billions of other souls that perished on that fateful day. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. It feels like it's been ages since I did a simple Adventure Time video, so I thought I'd basically come back with this one. There's gonna be a lot more videos lately because I'm finally fully set up at the new house. So thank you so much to my supporters, especially going to La La Land. I don't really have that many supporters, so if you guys want to help me out, go down to my Patreon, link down in the description below. By joining, not only do you get access to videos the moment that I finish them, but you also get access to lost videos that are pretty much gone due to YouTube continuously trying to ban them. All tiers get Discord benefits, and for higher tiers you can find your name in the credits, as well as get access to bonus content, as well as polls for us to dictate exactly which shows I could cover later. Anyways, I won't keep you, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye!